Hello, everybody. We're back at Proverbs chapter 11, verse 12 today, which says, "Whoever belittles his neighbor lacks sense, but a man of understanding remains silent." This is another proverb about what we say, about our opinions, and whom we share them with. And I think in this day and age, that's an important lesson for us to know about who you tell what you think about them. He says if you belittle or insult someone, letting them know just what you think, let me tell you what I finally think about you, you lack sense. Now, we hear that, and some of us will go, well, that's just the way I was raised, that's just my culture. It seems like every culture likes to claim the fact that they're direct and forthright, and that's why it's okay for them to insult people. Doesn't matter. What does the Bible say? He says if you do that, you're senseless. That's not a good thing to do. When you shoot off at the mouth, you make enemies. You don't have enemies that you've never spoken to, right? If somebody's walking down the street, they don't hate you. But if you open your mouth and tell them exactly what you think about them, well, you might get an enemy, even if you've known them for a really long time. You hurt your friends when you tell them exactly what you think. Well, they need to hear it. Okay, how does that work out for you when you live your life that way, right? And you end up alone, you end up isolated, or you make a whole bunch of friends with other people who also love to shoot off at the mouth. And then you all just spend your whole time going round and round with all the drama on who said what and who did what. Solomon says that's a senseless thing to do. And some folks, as I said, they make a virtue out of being rude. You know, you got this on both sides. Let's talk politics for a second. One side is like, we've got to speak truth to power. We've got to get it out there. We've got to tell the world what's wrong with this and that. Okay. Then on the other side, you got folks that say, we've got to say exactly what we believe because we got to fight political correctness and all that. Both of them end up at the same senseless place. I'm going to tell everybody I meet exactly what I think about them. I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to be kind because that's to let the other side win. Good grief. I'm not worried about any of that, and you shouldn't be either. What does the Bible say? James 1:19, we've read this one before. "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger." If you have true understanding, if you have true wisdom as a person, the Bible says, you will appreciate the fact that you have twice as many ears as you do mouths. You should be listening more than you should be talking, especially if we're talking about insults, belittling people. There's no place for that, especially in the life of a Christian. Now listen, there's no avoiding having opinions about people. But if you keep that to yourself, you have more opportunities to love the people around you. You know, if you tell everybody exactly what you think, then you're just going to be driven off and you won't have an opportunity to evangelize or exhort and encourage or maybe help disciple that person along. And if you keep it to yourself, you bring less trouble. It's not hypocritical. It's just withholding what would be painful to somebody so that you can have an opportunity to maybe bring them along and love them right where they need it. And we're in this Facebook era, you know, where we feel the need to react to everything. And we even watch videos of people reacting to things, and then we react in the comments, and we feel the need to say what we think about people we've never even met. You know, you get upset when somebody you've never met has a comment and opinion about you, but you have no problem talking about some celebrity or some politician or some folk down the road that you don't know anything about. You don't need to share what you think about people all the time. Jesus said something similar in Matthew 5:22. He says, "I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother will be liable to the council, and whoever says, 'You fool,' will be liable to the hell of fire." Insults and call-outs, they only lead to escalation. It makes things worse. It doesn't make things better. Nobody hears a good tongue lashing and then goes, "You're right, I must change." No, we get angry and then we throw it right back and now we're fighting and nothing's going to get solved. The world does not need to know what you think. Allow me to release you from that. Maybe no one's ever told you this. The world doesn't need to know what you think about everything. Just because you have access to telling people, just because you have somebody who wants to listen to you or somebody who's trying to solicit your opinion on some gossipy thing, you don't need to tell them. It's senseless to belittle people and speak out. You lack sense, the Bible says. And Jesus even says there's judgment in it for you. And you know what else it shows? It shows a lack of love. A lack of love to the people around you because you're more concerned with what you've got to express than what that person needs, the love that they need. You think it is more important for you to be able to say what you think and what you feel and what you really want to say in that moment than it is to stop and maybe to have a chance to love that person. You're not loving somebody when you belittle them. Well, I'm just giving them tough love. Make sure it's tough love and not just you being a jerk. Because a lot of times we find nice phrases to cloak our sin. What Solomon says is a senseless thing to do. Is our culture better off because we know what everybody's thinking all the time? People say, well, things are so divided now. You know what? Maybe they were divided before. We just didn't know it because everybody knew how to behave in front of other people. But now, since we have these ability to say things without anybody judging us right away, all of a sudden we're aware of all this stuff. Bible gives us the answer to this. The wise thing is to hold it back, not to be belittling people, not to be insulting folks, but to remain silent. You don't need to have an opinion. You don't need to have a vocal opinion on everything. If you've got to address something in somebody's life, there's a way to do it. But there's also a way not to do it. Don't you be the one with a big mouth who's not offering encouragement. You're just offering insults. That's a senseless thing to do, Solomon says. God bless you guys. Be nice in the comments on this one because that would be a little ironic, wouldn't it? Bye, guys.